Hey. Can you hear me now? Is my microphone on this thankful Thursday? Welcome. Welcome to today's webinar sponsored by MeetRecord. I'm your host, Larry Long Jr., CEO, that's Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises. Today, we welcome you to our webinar From Data to Dollars, Leveraging AI and Coaching for Revenue Growth. Thank you so much for joining. I know some of y'all might be wondering, why are we here? Well, I am super excited to partner with my dear friends, my great colleagues at MeetRecord. And here goes why. Knowing isn't doing. And thinking about the question of how are you as sales leaders and sales professionals leveraging all of the data, all of the resources that are out there to actually drive business and grow your revenues. There's a powerful impact when you leverage AI combined with coaching that could drive your business. Chew on that for a second. And today on this Thankful Thursday, I'm excited for the opportunity to join the co-founders of MeetRecord. We've got Snehal and Sachin in the house. Let's give it up for our MeetRecord co-founders. I don't know if you can tell, but I am super excited for this conversation. Now, hey, let's get into it. How do we turn our data into dollars? How do we actually use AI and coaching for revenue growth? Now, we're going to start off with intros. Snehal, Sachin, who are you? Our viewers want to know. Who are you? What do you do? And why do you do it? The mic is all yours.
Sure, I'll start. So I'm Sachin, one of the co-founders of MeetRecord, and I've been a sales professional all my life. I've been in sales for more than 10 years now, mostly working with early stage startups and then working on this particular startup called MeetRecord, which have been working for last more than 3 years now. And always excited about sales, talking about sales, learning about sales. And more than 10 years into the professional, I'm still learning. And AI has kept us on our toes. So yeah, completely enjoying the journey with MeetRecord and building the next set of AI tools for our sales community.
I love it. Super exciting. Thank you so much, Sachin. Snehal, talk to us.
Yeah, so I look at the tech and product strategy here at MeetRecord, all the AI jazz. So before MeetRecord, I've always been a startup person. Started my first company in the college, which got acquired later on. Then worked on a bunch of products and few startups. So always been a startup person. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now, I forgot to share. This is a safe space. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for announcing, joining us from New York. We want to answer all of your questions. This is really about you. It's not about us. We're here to serve you with education, with insights, with motivation, inspiration, and hopefully transformation for you to take your sales game and your organization's sales game to that next level. So please go ahead and let us know, where are you joining us from today, and any questions that you have that we can best answer and support you when it comes to data to dollars, leveraging AI and coaching to grow your revenues. Now, until you put questions in, the mic is all mine. And I've got some questions. They've been brewing. I've been brewing on this. I've been waiting for this moment. I want to know, Snehal and Sachin, what are some of the unidentified problems within sales that AI can immediately make a difference? I need immediate impact right now. I'm challenged. There's chaos. There's turbulence. My sales are struggling. I'm looking at my number and I'm not there, and I'm not on track to be there. Can you help me, please? I'm waving the white flag.
Sure, I think I'll take that up. So yeah, so one of the reasons why we got into getting into sales is, of course, revenues, numbers, dollars. And what we realized is that instead of building something very fancy, which is going to take a lot of time, build something which is immediately impacting users, right? And while talking to a lot of sales leaders, when we were doing, let's say, pre-research about before getting into this product or space, we realized sales leaders, one of the major pain points for sales leaders is their sales reps, account executive, BDRs not filling up the CRM, updating the CRM. And that's where we saw a great way to make an impact immediately with what we were building. And that's where we think AI can actually automate a lot of processes, what is mostly what people are doing, wasting time on. So sales guys are there to sell, not to fill up data, right? That's of course part now become a part of the job that they are doing, but we see that gradually being phased out with AI taking over in that space, where a lot of automation would come in terms of making some of the redundant things that they are doing completely out of the way, and they can focus more on selling, right? Which is the job they have been hired for. So that's where one thing we definitely see kind of things improving. And then of course there are a lot of other things, interesting things happening on the AI front, where let's say even AI agents, which are the big thing right now in which is still to get perfect, but at least we have made a start in that space. Not us, basically a lot of other companies which are doing that research and trying to enable, I mean, basically some of the redundant tasks or repetitive tasks which nobody likes to do. Those tasks will be taken over by a lot of agents, AI agents, which are much better trained, much better kind of trained in terms of what they are supposed to achieve in terms of numbers. And the sales guys can focus more on the human element of sales rather than the systematic or what systems can take care of. So yeah, these are a couple of things I think probably, Snehal, if you want to add any thoughts of yours.
And,
Yeah,
and
so
before we get there, I just want to summarize what I think I heard, and I like what I heard. For our
Sure.
sellers to be able to focus on selling versus what I call that other stuff, the redundant tasks. AI can take care of those redundant tasks so that I can now focus on what I like to call the human element, the B2B, which is belly to belly, the relationships. Is that what I heard from you, Sachin?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Ooh-wee. You got me excited. And we've got a question from Jennifer. We're going to get right to it, but I want to hear from Snehal. Talk to me, Snehal. What you got? The mic is all yours.
yeah, so apart from the redundant tasks, what I feel AI is really good at after generative AI is generating new ideas, right? So at MeetRecord, we are powerhouse of all your conversations, are a big repository of all your conversations, which can actually give you some very interesting ideas for your sales enablement, for your sales engagement. So there are many times when you just have this block in your head, where a mental block in your head, that you can't figure out, what should your first line in the mail be, or what should that first line in your quotation document be, right? So AI can just throw up some ideas, right? So apart from automation, the creativity bit, right, or just getting rid of that mental block thing is like big thing which AI can solve for you.
Oh, that's powerful. That's powerful. Now, I do want to say hi to Jennifer. Thank you so much for joining us, Jennifer from New York. And Jennifer has a question that's been on her mind. Jennifer asks, as an accounting professional who provides accounting and taxation services, how can she leverage AI to help increase her sales and help with effective pricing? What do you all got for Jennifer? Any thoughts?
Yeah, that's a great use case. Just to kind of reiterate, we have some of our customers from this particular domain as well, and how they have. We can talk about that, and probably some of the new things that we are doing. Snail can kind of add on to that. So what we are, I mean, there's an accounting firm basically specifically using our platform, and how they use it is basically their business is a lot of seasonal business. So what they focus on is basically how they can leverage that 3 to 4 months down every year, the beginning of the year and the end of the year, when taxation kind of comes up with MeetRecord, by being able to kind of hire guys quickly, and then of course let them go as the kind of the season kind of waits off. So that's where the training onboarding kind of thing kind of really comes in helpful. and also some of the insights that comes from those meetings that would have been lost because there are so many meetings happening which is within a very short span of time. It's very easy to kind of get lost track of things. So that's where our kind of we kind of come in and kind of help these accounting professionals in terms of doing their job better and also making it much more efficient in terms of what they're doing. Because it's for the first 3 months, probably, or maybe since October onwards, they will be very hectic. So that's when they need the most help. And maybe when they're not kind of busy with other stuff, they can actually use some of the data that is generated from their meetings with MeetRecord.
Ooh, that's powerful right there. The seasonality of the business, beginning and end of year, but being able to capture all of the information out there and being able to distill it to the most relevant information to help with selling. And I think Jennifer asked as well with effective pricing. Jennifer, I'm going to add in right there. As you become more efficient and more effective, you can now increase your fees, your pricing, because you're providing premium service. You're now providing more of that human element because you don't have to worry about all of that other stuff. Snehal, what do you have to add?
Yeah, so when you have such less time, you want to figure out, what's the best thing working for you. So what are your best calls? Who are the ones closing really faster? And then replicate those best practices across your team, right? Within those 3 months. So that's what AI helps you to do. And basically track whether, everyone in the team who have been onboarded very recently, they are replicating the best practices, and you can then continuously coach them, right? That's what we call AI coaching.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now we've got Brian joining us from Orlando, and Brian is one of the leaders of NSN, National Sales Network of Orlando. And Brian has a question because this is on a lot of people's minds. Do you think AI will affect face-to-face selling in the future, as a lot of pharmaceutical companies are using AI to improve sales? Now, he added on to that. He pretty much said, hey, do we expect to see a reduction in the sales professionals due to AI?
We look at it in a slightly different way. So as I kind of reiterating what I said earlier is basically and Brian also mentions that some of the things are where AI is going to replace, but you can't replace the human element in your sales, and that's where probably I would not say reduce the number of salespeople, but let's say maybe have more kind of advanced salespeople in some ways, where sales guys are focusing on in terms of what they could add as a human element to their sales pitches. So face-to-face selling, I would not say completely evaporate. It may reduce to a certain extent, but I would say I think there is a human element always required, and people appreciate talking to human rather than a system. So that is always going to be there. So I would not kind of completely kind of discard the human salesperson against the AI, but it will only help the human salesperson kind of do the job better. As in, like talking to people is what you don't want the AI to kind of talk always to. Maybe the basic stuff can be explained, but when it comes to let's say how questions are being asked by people, right, and a human is answering those questions. So imagine AI answering, that will be mostly standard based on previous data. But let's say if you want to talk more about future, you want to talk more about your personal problems or exactly the challenges you're facing, that's where a human would answer that better than, let's say, AI.
Wow, that's powerful. And before we get to you, Snehal, I do want to say you're welcome, Jennifer. Let us know any other questions that you have. Thank you so much for participating. Now, hold up. Someone's knocking at my door. Who is it? They must not know that I got a webinar going on. Oh, okay. That's opportunity knocking at my door, and it's knocking at all of our doors. What I just heard you say, Sachin, is that AI cannot replace the human element. We bring heart, bring soul, we bring the ability to really connect person to person, belly to belly, which cannot be replaced. Now, what I hear from you is that the opportunity is there for us to use AI as a tool to get better, to be stronger, more productive, more efficient, quicker, faster, bigger, stronger. I like what I'm hearing. Tell me more. Snehal, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, we are firm believers. Like, AI will only make the salespeople more efficient. It will help them regain more time, right? And what do you do with more time? More opportunities, right? You focus on more opportunities. So the emotional connection, and frankly, the emotional bit is very difficult or sort of impossible to be replicated with AI, right? So that's something that AI will never replicate, and that's why I mean the personal connection or the salesperson will never go, right?
That's powerful. That's powerful. Now, I heard Sachin mention this before, and now you're talking my language. When we're talking about sales coaching, specifically personalized sales coaching, I'm just curious, what's your perspective when you think about how personalized sales coaching can increase the productivity of our sales teams?
Yeah, I think coaching is one of the key elements of anybody. Let's say when let's say you or me or anybody of us started our careers, sales careers specifically. Let's say we all had some sort of a mentor who would guide us, right? And with let's say things kind of going remote or things kind of going in a distributed manner, it was difficult to tap on somebody's shoulder and say that, hey, I need help with this particular thing. So that's where, and of course, the volume of calls, volume of work that is being done by salespeople has increased. So imagine a very simple use case where a manager is managing a sales 10 to 12 sales reps, and every sales reps does, let's say, a couple of meetings a day, if not more, right? And across 10 salespeople, you have like 20 meetings in a day, 100 meetings in a week, 400, 500 meetings in a month. It practically becomes impossible for a sales manager to kind of give any kind of coaching, right? And more so in terms of unbiased coaching, right? So when a system is actually helping, that's where the AI kind of comes in and kind of automates a lot of that process, which let's say a manager is doing. Of course, giving personal feedback, more personalized feedback, that is always going to come from, let's say, a person, a human sales manager, or your whoever your mentor is. But the redundant tasks, the repetitive tasks, which was basically reviewing those 1 hour calls, 45-minute calls, that goes to AI. And that's where the AI kind of brings in more efficiency in terms of giving unbiased feedback, giving feedback which is relevant based on the kind of meetings that you're doing, kind of interactions or communication that you're doing with your customers. So it does kind of bring in all of this together to kind of leave a very good impact in terms of how sales could progress, and adding any kind of time saved is basically helping you add more dollars to your business, right? So yeah, that's how we see it. That's how we have kind of visualized coaching as
Ooh, you had me at add more dollars. And speaking about dollars, I want to tie in the deal scoring. And I'm going to ask this specifically of Snehal. If you have anything to add around the personalized sales coaching, please add it. And I want to know about the deal scoring, because I can tell you the teams that I work with, they're managing a lot of quote unquote deals. A lot of times it turns out that they're working with suspects. And I got to be honest with you. Mama said, knock you out. If you're a suspect, I ain't got time for you, versus prospect. Those folks that are really qualified, those folks that I really have a chance to win. Talk to me about the importance of deal scoring for forecasting as well as coaching our sellers to be the best that they can possibly be.
Awesome, awesome. So I'll start with the personalized coaching bit. Just an additional point, right? So many times when you're selling, right, you're alone in a room making those calls, going on those demos, and you feel slightly lonely, right? When you get this personalized coaching, right, you have someone who is continuously giving you feedback through the day after each and every call. You don't have to wait for a week to get feedback on how you could have done it better, right? And also, like, every salesperson is different, right? So I could be a person who builds rapport, right, just like you, Larry, or I could be someone who's very calculative and analytical, right? Maybe Sachin is like that, right? So depending on that, if the AI can give me very tailored feedback immediately after the call, I could probably use that in my next calls and nail it, right? So that's a bit about sales coaching. Another thing you asked about the deal scoring, right? So what happens, is many times the managers and the sales leaders, they get to know about how their quarter went at the end of 3 months, right? Nothing, and in today's time, things need to be real time. So that's what our solution does. The calls are scored. All the meetings which happened previously on those calls, they are analyzed, right? And then you get a near to real time activity recommendation and a score on how your deals are progressing. So you can use that to actually mix the data with your previous, let's say, forecasting, and use this real-time deal score to figure out, what would be the actual forecasting. So it will be very much accurate than what it was before.
Ooh, I think that opportunity is knocking at the door again. And to all my sales leaders that are out there, I think you can all relate and realize a lot of times reps will view their deals with rose-colored glasses. It's all hunky dory until it's time to close, and then surprise, you're like, where did this come from? Now, what I'm hearing is that being able to leverage technology such as MeetRecord, you can now get a real deal, Holyfield insight into what's going on with these deals in real time. So we don't have to wait until the end of the quarter for those surprises. We can know right now when deals are in jeopardy, when the deals are not progressing. And I don't need to rely on the hopes, the dreams, and the prayers of my reps, which oftentimes that's what we're living on. We're living on a prayer. Thank you so much for sharing that, Snehal. Now, I want to get into this around coaching, and especially with calls. So I'm curious to know, what do y'all think about, should sales reps be nudged during the call when they're having their calls with information? Why or why not?
Sure, I think I'll take that up. So while we were like, I mean, while talking to a lot of sales leaders, so there are two perspectives here. So one perspective is, if you have to take it from a sales rep's perspective, how he or she looks at it, right? And then the other perspective is from a sales leader's perspective. How do sales managers or sales leaders kind of look at it? So I'll tell you, this is actual research data. So we talked to more than 100 odd CRO sales leaders while building the product, and the feedback from the sales leaders was that we like it because they think it will be useful for the salesperson. But when you talk to more than 400 odd salesperson, sales account executives, BDRs, SDRs, uh, they think it's useful, but it's slightly intrusive. In terms of, because that while you're talking to a customer or a prospect, you want to focus on the person, not looking at some pop-up which says that, hey, you should ask this question, or this, you should mention this thing, because then you lose that personal touch, and then people kind of also kind of slightly disconnect with you as well. So there are two perspectives. So eventually the guys who are going to be using these kind of technologies, they don't really kind of are a fan of it, I would say. But sales leaders think they should be using it. It should be useful. But I think in terms of sales, you lose that connection when you are kind of referring to some material or referring to some sort of prompts on the screen, maybe while you're giving a demo or something. So yeah, so there are, like, opinion is divided on both sides. I would say it's not clear. So, but eventually, we, of course, as a company, decided not to go in that direction.
Ooh, that's powerful. And you talked about the divide. It sounds like the leaders are all for it. Oh, that would be great. That would be so helpful. But as you dug in and you got the data from the actual users, they said, survey says, nah. When I'm in a call, I want to be focused on that conversation. I want to be focused on how I can serve, how I can guide, how I can add value. And I don't need to have someone in my ear or pop-ups on the screen that are distracting from the conversation. Oh, I appreciate you walking through your experience, your conversations, and the insight that you gained that It sounds like there's a pretty big divide there.
Yep, absolutely.
Oh, goodness gracious. Now, Dreamforce is coming up next week. I'm going to be there in San Francisco at Dreamforce. I know that y'all are going to be there in spirit. And a little birdie told me that MeetRecord is going to be on the App Exchange soon. I don't know. I don't know if I was supposed to let the cat out of the hat, but sending you kudos and huge congrats on that. Now, I'm curious, what are you most excited about with this partnership with Salesforce and Dreamforce and MeetRecord? What has you excited?
Yeah, I mean, it's really exciting, especially I've been a Salesforce user in a lot of previous jobs or companies that I've worked for, and it's a great ecosystem as well. Not just as a user, as an end user, but also the customers or the users, other users or potential customers that we could be having already. So a lot of our insights when we were actually building the product and talking to customers, talking to users, was that Salesforce is there, the biggest system ecosystem in terms of sales professionals and all. And one of the challenges, as I mentioned at the beginning of our conversation as well, that sales leaders find most irritating stuff is that salespeople not updating their deals, and eventually that impacts the forecasting. So if I don't have enough information, Salesforce can't do anything about if you don't feed that data into Salesforce, right? And that's where we saw a need to kind of build something on these lines where we can help sales leaders get more or better insights, and of course not at the same time also saving time for the sales reps and guys who are sitting there filling data on a Friday evening on their laptops. So how can we save, kind of make both of them happy? So that's where we kind of build this Salesforce app, and we saw a lot of great feedback coming in, and hopefully like we'll be soon live on the Salesforce App Exchange ecosystem as well. So yeah, pretty excited. This year Dreamforce, we missed you, but yeah, next year sure we're going to be there.
I love it. I love it. I can't wait. Snehal, tell me more. The excitement is thrilling, and I'm excited for you because this is just an opportunity to impact, to touch sales professionals, sales leaders, sales organizations across the globe. What makes you excited?
Yeah, I mean, what makes me excited is all the conversations, all the analysis, all the reports, and all the amazing insights can now be inside your Salesforce account. So you don't have to juggle with multiple apps. Probably only you can juggle, Larry, with multiple mics, but not everyone can. So yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about like the value, the integration, the partnership will actually bring in to every Salesforce customer out there.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I'm going to have my ears to the ground. I'm going to have my eyes open next week at Dreamforce. Oh, goodness gracious. Now, I am curious. Tell me more about how you're planning. If you're open to sharing, what's your plan to solve the Salesforce ecosystem? It's an ecosystem of sellers and leaders and partners, and it's a robust ecosystem. What's the plan in order to really, I'll say, conquer the Salesforce ecosystem?
Yeah, so it's can't reveal all of them, but yeah, I can give you a insight on what we are kind of planning. Yeah, quite. So yeah, so one of the first steps was of course to build kind of put a foot in the door is to kind of help the Salesforce ecosystem itself, and the best way to get into any ecosystem is by helping the users on that ecosystem, and that's what we are doing through the App Exchange app. But there's a lot more coming in terms of what we could do with that app, or even with the entire ecosystem as a place, because we think there's a lot more potential that we can do on top of Salesforce. And in terms of like what we are trying to achieve is basically partner with like-minded people who are enabling sales leaders or sales reps to do kind of use the Salesforce platform to its fullest, or to its full potential. So definitely, so there are a lot more plans. But yeah, right now the first step is to kind of enter the as a app, and of course collaborate with a lot more people in that ecosystem by partners, implementation partners, resellers, whatever, like whatever is MVPs like yourself who would be helping help us understand how Salesforce works and how the Salesforce ecosystem works. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Now I'm going to get back to some questions, some specific questions from a seller's perspective. And for all those attending, please feel free. Any questions that are on your mind, please go ahead and put them in the chat. Get your Twitter fingers, or I guess get your X fingers ready, and go ahead and submit any questions you have. But the question I have is in regards to how is coaching evolving? What are you seeing? I know you got a tight pulse to the ground. How is that evolution of sales coaching evolving in the AI era?
Yeah, so how we have seen a few things that we have observed, especially in the last year or so, in fact, less than a year, is with Gen AI coming in. A lot more people are focused on using that technology to how they can reduce their time that they spent on, let's say, meetings or generally like activities that they do usually with like fingers, right? As you said, like Twitter fingers, right? Or X fingers. So that's where I think we see one of the things in terms of coaching is where instead of, as I said, a manager kind of doing a one-to-one session where the sales reps feel that maybe manager has a bias towards me or a bias towards another salesperson. So we see a lot of like these kind of technologies coming in to automate those processes, wherein a human element is maybe sometimes coming in with its own bias. So I have my own bias, let's say, about a certain individual, maybe, so where technology would not have that, right? So, or for that matter, listening to thousands of calls in a month or a week, that is taken care of by the AI. And that also includes also being able to use some of the previous data. So there's already a lot of repository in all organizations for those meetings that they would have done on Zoom or any other platform for that matter. And how do I leverage that past data? So that's where, and how do I leverage that past data to provide better coaching or provide better insights in terms of coaching sales reps? So instead of having a one single framework for everybody, maybe we kind of believe in having a different kind of, let's say, a framework for every individual. So somebody, let's say, a very simple example is, not everybody is good at everything, right? So there might be some alpha guy who might be good at, let's say, even, and if you look at pricing as a process, so there is, let's say, somebody is very good at giving demos, somebody is very good at discovery, somebody is not so good at pricing, somebody is only good at maybe two of the aspects. How do you customize your coaching with AI so that the AI focuses on the guy thinks the sales rep is not so good on, right? So let's say if I'm not good at pricing, maybe AI can, leverage whatever your past calls or the calls of the best sales reps who are good in pricing discussions to use that to help you coach better. So that's where we see some of the stuff that where coaching or AI could come into really improving the coaching aspect.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And I got to ask, I mean, I'm curious, what should organizations be doing right now? Can you give me a step by step? What should sales orgs be doing to prepare for the future advancements? And after you share that, I'm curious about the future advancements from a product and technology perspective. So I'll start with Sachin. What are the tangible steps that sales orgs can do right now to prepare themselves for the future? And I'm going to pass the mic to Snehal because I want to hear about the future, the product roadmap. What's on the horizon?
Snehal, you want to start with the tech? Tech is Snail's baby. So yeah.
Oh, yeah. So AI is going to revolutionize each and every layer of the sales tech stack, right? So we are revolutionizing revenue intelligence bit, conversation intelligence bit, in future sales engagement, sales enablement, RevOps. All of it will be automated. A lot of things which are repetitive, mundane will get automated with AI, right? So, with respect to coaching, even the performance management bit, where you generate the strengths and weaknesses, And basically, the times are changing, the business and environment keeps on changing, right? Your product keeps on changing. AI enables you to quickly learn and adapt and find the best coaching strategy and then replicate it across your teams, right? So it's going to help you evolve faster with changing times.
I
Yes,
love
Sachin.
I love it. And I love what you talked about in terms of the automation. Ooh, that's music to my ears. The analyzation, being able to analyze this data and really turn it into dollars. And then the performance management. You're making my life easier as a coach to really teach up, to coach up my team. Oh, I love it. And earlier I heard what it sounded like, tailoring and customizing and having multiple frameworks versus just one set framework. That's powerful. Sachin, tell me more about the future of AI in coaching.
Yeah, sure. Since you talked about frameworks, so every company follows certain frameworks, like let's say a band or a Medipic or whatever, whatnot, right? So how do you bring that element into your process? And it's very difficult to implement these kind of things, especially if you have a very large sales team. So that's since that's one of the things we also see kind of coming in, where AI could really enforce or kind of implement help you implement these kind of frameworks, apart from the generic frameworks, which is where you're helping sales reps improve with certain aspects of the sales process, where you can have these frameworks or different sales methods implemented in your sales team. So that's one thing we definitely see. And then coaching is kind of really wide open as a space. We have just scratched the surface as of now. So there's a lot more coming in the coaching aspect. Not revealing everything, but yeah, I'll giving you enough to kind of what exactly we are looking to do.
Enough to chew on. I like that. You whet the appetite. Now, Brian has a question, and it's two parts. So, would you say that it would be good for a company to have a good mix of AI and the human element? And what he shared is that sometimes AI struggles to capture those intangible qualities that a sales professional, I'm giving you the remix, a sales professional brings to the table. How can a company, how can a sales org leverage unbiased feedback to maximize the effectiveness of their entire sales team?
That's a great question, Brian. I think you've gone really deep into how AI is kind of can be utilized. So yeah, absolutely. To the first part that you mentioned, would you say that it would be good for a company? Yes, it's a very important thing that sales leaders don't get completely lost in technology and rely completely 100% on technology. Uh, I mean, as much as you would want to, but there's always going to be a human element. So your thing that has to be a good mix of human element and technology. So we humans have only built this technology, so we we are irreplaceable kind of. So and the second thing, in terms of sometimes AI struggles to capture intangible qualities. Yes, definitely sometimes it does, but as you train it with more data, it's only going to get better. So AI is completely, yeah, it's completely rely on what you feed into that, right? If you feed let's say data of the best calls or the best sales reps, probably it will learn from that only. So it's something completely dependent on what kind of data you feed into that AI for it to be able to give you the best advantage in terms of unbiased feedback. Or so unbiased in terms of feedback doesn't mean that it will always be that way, because what you feed as a data point into AI is basically what it will give you as output. What you feed in is what comes as output. So there always has to be some sort of a human element, even in coaching as well. So even for, let's say, any product which caters to AI coaching, there has to be some human element coming in where you kind of tweak that to align with your sales process or what exactly you want it to achieve.
Ooh, that was fire. Brian, I hope that answers your question. Please let us know in the chat. Please keep chatting. These things are on your mind. And right now is the time to get your questions answered. Now, I want to know, what are some of those challenges? You've already talked about a few, but what are some of those challenges that you're hearing from sales orgs What are they running into when they're adopting AI tools to better make data-driven decisions? I mean, we talk about using data, but what are some of those pitfalls, some of those areas that I might not even be thinking about where I could be blindsided and really bopped over the head? No one wants to be bopped over the head. Help me understand, what is that rocky road ahead? Some of those things I should be aware of.
So one of the things with AI is people believe it can solve 100% of your problems. No, it doesn't. You have to still work. You still have to make those your sales meetings or whatever like it's required in terms of your job. So it's only going to help you improve on the as mundane tasks, like things at least for now. It may get better at some point of time to kind of replace some of the human element of as well, but at least we would say that some of the common challenges we see is that of course people kind of completely leaving it on the AI. The other thing is the opposite of it, where people are not so open towards adopting these kind of technologies, AI technologies, where they still think the old school way is still the best way of doing. But it has to be a good mix of, as Brian mentioned as well, right? So a good mix of human element and technology in terms of selling. So, I mean, apart from this, there are, of course, general in terms of lethargy, in terms of adopting new technologies, or not being able to let's say, leverage, use the technology in the best possible way. And these are some common things that we see generally as kind of people making mistakes in terms of adopting AI or, let's say, even sales technologies as well.
Wow. I appreciate you sharing that. And Sachin, wrong answer. Wrong answer. That's not what I wanted to hear. You're telling me I have to work. You're telling me I still have to use my brain. I thought that I could call in the robots and AI and just be chilling at the beach, sipping on a pina colada. You're telling me I still got to work? I'm joking, of course. So it sounds like AI is really a tool to supplement my activity. And really, I guess you would say, in addition to what I'm doing, it's going to be additive to my efforts. It's not going to be a replacement to me working, but it's going to help boost me to get to that next level. Now, you mentioned some old school industries. We don't want to talk about them. They're going night night, probably going to be extinct. But I'm curious, what are some of those industries that are leading the way in combining AI, combining data, and they're leveraging it to drive their business? I want to learn from them. Who's doing it the best?
Sure. So based on our experience, at least, or what we see generally in our community or ecosystem, people kind of technology. Of course, product software companies are going to be the first adopters of technology in most cases. That's what we have seen in the last 20, 25 years. But what we also see, a lot of unconventional industries adopting AI. And some of the use cases are mind-blowing use cases. Like you can't imagine a pest control company using AI to have better and these are like 40-year-old pest control companies.
Wow.
And they are using AI to kind of get better output out of their sales reps. Or a legal firm, you'd never imagine a personal injury management firm using AI in today's times. And there are use cases are pretty exciting and interesting in terms of how they are leveraging AI. And then you have companies, accounting firms. I mean, they are slightly slow in terms of adopting technologies to start with, but once they have adopted, they have gone on to the next level in terms of how they are using AI to kind of leverage their, let's say, meetings, or in our case, meeting, but there are a lot of other use cases as well. So yeah, these are some of the unconventional industries where we see, I mean, imagine a gym consulting company kind of using platform to really leverage AI to how they can sell better or sell more or sell faster. So yeah.
Oh, you're talking my language now. Sell faster, sell more, sell better. I had to put on my stunner shades. When you talk about product and high tech and software companies, that makes sense. But you're talking about 40-year plus old pest control companies, accounting firms, legal firms, gym consulting. Woo! That's the surprise of the day. So what I'm hearing is really every industry is ripe for the opportunity to leverage AI coaching to drive progress, to drive increases in their revenues. Is that right, or is that right?
You heard that right, Larry.
I love it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Snehal, what do you have to add? I can tell you got something on your mind. I can see the gears turning. Talk to me.
No, absolutely right. Marketing companies, advertising companies, like everyone is just jumping on the bandwagon, and AI right now is like so good. You can just get started in one click, right? So why not? What's
Ooh,
stopping everyone?
it sounds like the block is hot. The block is hot, and I like it. Now, I'm curious. What are some of the most critical data points? Because there's so much data. I mean, I'm going to keep it real. My mind is blown. How much information, how much data is out there? I'm a big fan. And what are those critical few, those KPI, key performance indicators? From your perspective, what are some of those most critical data points that organizations, that sales professionals should be focusing on, specifically as it pertains to driving revenue, driving the business?
See, I mean, the basics still remain the same. So you'll have to look at how much prospecting you're doing, how many customers you're reaching out, how many deals you're closing, and of course, just showing up for the job is also half the job done, right? So basically, sales is a constant thing. You have to work as it is. You have to still follow the basics. So there's no kind of a secret mantra, if you want to put it that way. In terms of like kind of anything new in terms of KPIs or KRS, you still have to do the job. But yeah, the technology only is going to help you do your job better, or in terms of helping you do your job more effectively, more efficiently. So it's simply like if you have to just put it out straight away, it's kind of let's say what you're doing as a day-to-day job is basically more prospecting, more selling, more efficient and more kind of better emails, better calls, better communication, how you can help. And end of the day, it's all about helping your customers, right? So how easily or how better easily you can kind of make your customers job easier, right? So that it's all about that only. So eventually it's all boils down to helping customers achieve what they are trying to achieve with your product or service.
I love it. I love it. And I think you told me it's time to go back to school. ABC, easy as 1, 2, 3. We got to stick with the basics. There's no magic formula. Oh my goodness. Prospecting, customer outreach, deals closed, showing up consistently, solving your prospects and your clients' pains, their problems, coming with a solution. I absolutely love it. That's the magic, that there is no magic. So many times people are looking for that silver bullet. I hate to say it, but we live in a microwave society, and I'm guilty. I just microwave to warm up my leftovers. But sometimes you have to let it simmer. You have to let it marinate. Yeah, to get to the good stuff. And I think that's what you're telling me, is that we still have to follow those basic fundamentals while leveraging AI to help us. Now, I'm curious. You've been talking a whole lot of stuff, and I've liked it, but I need the proof to be in the pudding. It's dessert time. Can you give me a case study? I want to hear a success story, a case study from someone that you've worked with that has leveraged AI to have success in business growth.
Absolutely. So I was talking about the company, right? So they have
Hold
been.
on, hold on. That thought that you said was so electric, you kind of broke in. You broke in and broke out. And I know I'm the chief energy officer. I wrote the book called Jolt, but I see Sachin. It's electric. I guess I transferred some of that electricity to you again. Can you start over again so we can hear it?
Yeah, sure. So we talked about this business which is into gym consulting. So they have been leveraging AI for more than 2 years, especially MeetRecord AI, in terms of helping their sales team. So when they started, of course, a lot of the processes were manual, especially the coaching staff, also kind of automating the processes around their sales process. and in fact also using CRM to bring in all of the data and kind of combining that data with the meeting data that was provided by our platform, and helping them understand how they can, what they are doing right in their deals, or giving, let's say, a deal health score to their deals in terms of understanding what they could do better in their deals, or what the sales rep is kind of missing. So all of that stuff, instead of, and their calls are like long, like 90 minutes meetings that they have. So it becomes practically impossible for a sales manager to go and listen to every minute and give a feedback, or maybe give a coaching kind of guide on what exactly you missed, or what he or she kind of did really well. So one of the things they started with, of course, the basics in terms of, let's say, kind of being able to capture every meeting, capture every detail in the meeting. And the second thing is in terms of coaching, how they can actually leverage all the data they had from previous calls or meetings, to be able to use that data in their future calls, or how they can coach better with that data. And the third thing, of course, being able to not just kind of have good meetings or effective meetings, but also being able to close those deals going forward. So effectively, if you say, so they started with the basics, and then they have been with the entire journey with us last 2.5 years, and they have actually leveraged all of the technologies or kind of fancy stuff that we have built over the last couple of years into their sales team.
I love it. I love it. And that's a great example right there from the gym consulting client leveraging data. Now, I need you to go ahead and put your futuristic glasses on. I don't know if y'all have futuristic glasses. I know Snehal, you got some glasses. I don't know if they're futuristic. But I need you to go into the future, and I want you to paint me a picture. I would say short term and long term, but who knows what's going to happen in 5 years? Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? But I want you to paint me a picture of what does this landscape look like in let's go 1 to 2 years. 1 to 2 years. What is the landscape of AI, of sales coaching using AI to drive revenues? What does that look like? If we could fast forward to 20, let's say January of 2027. Talk to me about what you think the future holds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snehal,
So
you have the glasses.
yeah. So, like sales coaching is going to evolve tremendously. What we are trying to also build is like a super rep, right? A super rep is going to be combination of your best reps, your top 1 percentile rep, your who would actually be doing the best calls and so on, right? So anyone who has any question, right, or anyone who wants to learn from them, right now they have to approach the best reps, and they have to understand that takes up time of everyone, right? So what if you could just chat with the super rep, which is an AI agent of sorts, right? And you can get your answer. You can maybe converse and practice selling with that person, right? So role playing, actually learning from your best reps, all can be actually done with AI agents. And that's the next big thing we feel in AI coaching. The other bit around AI, right? As I said, AI is going to automate all the repetitive, mundane tasks, right? So it's going to save crazy amount of time for the sales reps, for the managers, and for the sales leaders who right now don't know what exactly is happening, what's helping them close deals, what's not. They will get a clear picture of, what's the best winning pattern, what should they do to actually win more deals, right? So basically just create some sort of order, some sort of pattern from all the chaos that's around, right? So this would be like one of few of the best things which are going to happen in AI. Sachin, if you want to add anything to that.
No, in the short term, that's what is going to happen. I mean, that's how we have visualized the future. But in long term, I also see and agents kind of coming in, but agents doing the jobs that sales executives or sales account executives wouldn't want to do, and then account executives choosing what they want to do in terms of stuff. So that's more like kind of wishful kind of stuff, but yeah, I'm sure that would come at some point of time as well. So let's say I don't like, for example, let's say sending emails. So I choose a rep that, okay, this is the best rep to choose send emails. And I assign that job to that sales. Of course, I give some guidelines. As I said, human element. So you have to give some feedback to that agent, and then the agent does the job for you. Or if I don't like making cold calls, for example, I assign an agent that, hey, go and make 50 calls for me today. And the agent does. Exactly. That's the thing.
I love it. I love it. Now, as we land the plane, I first want to say thank you, Sachin. Thank you, Snehal. Thank you, MeetRecord, for putting this on. It's been an honor, privilege, pleasure, and thrilling to host this. And we can see from the questions that have been asked. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Jennifer, for such great questions. Thank you to everyone else for coming out and supporting. Please be sure to check out MeetRecord. Please be sure to connect with the MeetRecord team, Sachin, Snehal, Pramod. They are doing great things to help you and your sales organization get to that next level. Now, I'm going to take it to overtime, and we're going to officially stop this, but I want people to be able to hear this conversation after the official webinar. So we are officially adjourned, but I've got some thoughts on overtime because you've mentioned automation. Y'all have talked about time savings. You've talked about visibility and getting a clear picture so that you can run the right plays to have success. Now, Brian had asked this earlier, and I know that you, Sachin, said it's not going to happen, but I have a sneaking suspicion that AI is not going to replace sales professionals, but it just might, and this is a hot take, it just might eliminate and replace the bad sales professionals. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I completely agree on that. At some point of time, this might happen. By then, sales reps would have found other jobs to do. But I'm sure as of now, we see definitely that could be one of the things. But that's slightly in the future, I would say that may happen at some point of time as well.
Gotcha. Any additional thoughts that you got, Snail?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what Sachin said. I mean, so it might happen, but would take some time. But I mean, what we believe in is that AI will help figure out, what's not working for you, so that don't end up becoming a bad salesperson, right? So I don't believe there's anyone called bad salesperson. It's just someone telling you that these are the things you should do, right? And yeah, if you put your heart at it, if you learn from AI, you can do it.
Oh, I love it. And you are far too kind. I'm just going to keep it real because this is what's on my mind, and I'm a straight shooter. I've seen some bad sales professionals. I've seen some bad reps that don't want to work. They don't care. It's the give a damn factor. Pardon my French, parlez-vous français, but they just don't care. And what I hope is that the technology, that AI allows us all to step our games up in this profession. And the key word there is profession. When you're a professional, you work hard. You do your diligence. You actually care about serving, about guiding, about solving problems. And right now, there's so many professionals that are fakers. They're amateurs. My hope is that AI can find a way to weed them out. I think in the words of my namesake, LL Cool J, Mama said, knock you out. It's time to knock out those sales professionals that are not true sales professionals. I love what MeetRecord is doing to help us automate our coaching, to up-level our skills, to help the entire team, at least those that care, to rise up and be better and allow our organizations to better serve more prospects, to better impact those communities that we're set to impact. I absolutely love it. So from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you to you, Snehal, to you, Sachin, to the MeetRecord team for being open to sharing this powerful tool, these powerful insights on how we can leverage the data and turn that into dollars and deals, because there's so much power behind AI that can help us grow our revenues. Now, it's not about me. This is about our audience. I'm going to give you both a final chance. What are your final and last thoughts that you want our audience members to leave with? Final thoughts.
Yeah, so all I would say is like, yeah, I mean, use technology to make your job I mean, do your job better in terms of what AI has to offer. Uh, I mean, you have to use the technology in the best possible way, and don't be averse to using it. And at the same time, be inquisitive in terms of what it is doing. Don't completely 100% rely on it, but always be asking questions with any technology, and there's always a scope for improvement. But yeah, I would say be open to using new technologies. At maybe to start with, it might not be the best way to kind of solve your day-to-day problems, but eventually it will be. So I mean, imagine search 10 20 years back, how was it and what it is today. So same with AI. What it's being able to do today, it will be 10 times or 100 times better in another. I mean, that cycle is reducing further. So be on top of it, instead of it directing you to do things, direct AI to do things as for you.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Sachin. Snehal, you got the last word. Final parting thoughts.
Yeah, so data is your friend, AI is your friend. It have patience. You won't get the result on next day. It would the AI models would take some time to learn about you, learn about your company. Have patience, but data and AI will lead to dollars.
Ooh, that's powerful. And I didn't know that you were going to come on in and drop the mic, but I think that's a great place to end. Once again, on this Thankful Thursday, we thank you. We thank all of our participants that are live. We thank all those that are watching the recording. Please know that we are here to support you and to help you elevate your game. This is part 1 out of 3. So we've got 2 more webinar series that are going to be coming to benefit you. We will see you the next time. Take care and happy selling, y'all. Bye now.
Bye bye.
Bye.